Oh, my name's Fox. I'm gonna watch this real quick, and then I'm gonna give like a quick review of Ahsoka. But I want to see what the first trailer they showed. Let's get into that.
War is inevitable. One must destroy in order to create.
Got some,
We are no Jedi.
which is actually pretty cool because that's the whole thing with Ahsoka. I am no Jedi, so it's kind of showing like a darker side of that idea.
I started hearing whispers of Thrawn's return as heir to the Empire.
What happens when we find Thrawn?
Power. Such
Sorry, the sun is exploding behind me.
as you've never dreamed.
I've spent most of my life fighting a war. That's why I'm trying to convince you to help me prevent another one.
You and I both know who could help you with this.
She's still just as stubborn as ever.
I bet your master found you difficult at times.
Anakin never got to finish my training. I walked away from him, just like I walked away from Sabine.
You never made things easy for me, Master.
Ooh.
As a Jedi, sometimes you have to make the decision no one else can. But I'm counting on you to see this through.
Nice haircut.
On August 23rd, which is already passed.
Sometimes we have to do what's right, regardless of our personal feelings.
Buckle up.
If we don't stop Thrawn, everything will be in vain.
Darkness
You have no power.
is coming.
Anakin spoke highly of you.
Ooh, the Vader breathing.
To discuss my past.
We have a lot of work to do.
Once a rebel, always a rebel.
Ahsoka. Alright, so I like this show. I've yet to really see a Star Wars show that I really didn't like. Ahsoka is really good, and here's the thing too. Like, I am one of the ones where like beginning of the series, Ahsoka, not series, beginning of like the Clone Wars. I kind of saw something like, oh, we're having this kid character now. Okay, mind you, also when I first heard about the Clone Wars series and like the Star Wars and Ahsoka, I just thought it was like any other like kids animated show, usually where it's a tie-in, but it's not. Like if I remember incorrectly, The Mummy, the cartoon series, that's what I think back to, where it's like, yes, there's this entire cartoon series of like the second Mummy movie. I think it's the second Mummy movie. And it had zero to do with the actual movies, right? Like, that's how I kind of thought all these shows kind of were until I found out, oh no! Clone Wars is actually part of the main story of Star Wars and stuff like that. Ahsoka is a canon character. I'm like, okay. Mind you, then after that, Ahsoka I did like a little bit more, getting more stuff with it, but also on that same note of that, I never liked any of her designs until, honestly, probably 7th season. like the season that Disney took over and they gave her like that blue suit, that blue Mando suit, and then with the saber, I'm like, okay. And then, like, after that, like, I bought, like, I think before that, too. Before that, because she first appeared in Rebels. Which, Rebels, I'm like, okay, I like the white lightsabers. And then I actually had her book and read it. That was, like, technically speaking, I think the Ahsoka book was, like, the first, like, sequel, like after, like, Disney took over, first, like, outer canon-wise stuff. And, yeah, and Ahsoka, honestly, probably one of my favorite characters right now. Especially what they're doing now with her kind of legacy, which I like the sequel trilogy, but I feel like it could have used a little bit more legacy stuff. And I mean that in the sense of, like, how do I say, hold on. Okay, sorry, I thought this was broken for a minute. Like, and I mean this in the sense of a lot of this series does play up some stuff with, obviously, Ahsoka being the apprentice of Anakin Skywalker. Where, like, spoilers for this, well, they showed Thrawn. When Thrawn pops up, and, he's like, so who was her master? Anakin Skywalker. Ah! Well, we're not taking any chances with that. like, hell, there's a point in this where they're, like, escaping. Because basically the whole idea is that Sabine, Ahsoka, and Hera all are still trying to weed out, whatever remnants of rebels that are, remnants of the Empire that are still out there. While also trying to find a way to find Ezra, who disappeared at the end of Rebels with Space Whales and Thrawn. And pretty much the council is like, yeah, no, we're not letting you do that. Like, the Empire's gone. We need to move on. And it's like, they're still there. Like, there's little remnants popping up everywhere. We should probably stop that. Because, everything you're kind of saying, there's just a small group of Empire. There's just a small group of, stagnants of the old regime. Rebels, if you will. Very tiny. They don't have as many resources that we, the, New Republic, the now ruling faction, have. There's no way they could take us over from the inside with spy stuff and... So, yeah. Pretty much they try to stop it. While this is going on, there's they're not Sith. And
You've never dreamed.
It's funny, and it kind of sucks, because when I was doing DoorDash, I would stop at Denny's and to pick up food. And to pick up food to take it some places. And, there was a girl there who liked Star Wars. Like, me and her would just talk about Star Wars while we were waiting for, like, the food to be made so I could take it. She told me these lightsabers are synthetic and that they also create a force field and all this. I didn't see any of the trailers, so I'm like, that's interesting. I can't wait to see it. None of that shit's in this. I'm like, God damn it. And the thing is, I'm in Texas now, or I'm in Chicago now, so I'm like, yeah, I won't be able to tell her that. But, yeah, these aren't really red lightsabers, though. They're, like, orange-ish. But, yeah, so you have, like, these dark Jedi. Like, I wouldn't call them Sith. Because it seems like these guys are kind of against that. But, like, even, like, Balin's like, I know your master, Ahsoka. And then, like, all this other stuff. Like, I brought up the episode about, that Ahsoka sees Anakin in the land world between and stuff like that. And it seems like very much they're building out way more the mythology of, like, certain Force things, which I actually like too, because also this is also really opposite of what the hell George Lucas was trying to do with the prequels, where George Lucas was trying to go, no. The Force is about metachlorians and all this shit. And, like, there's a sciencey reason for that. And Clone Wars, as well as, like, the new Disney mythology of it goes, no, it's still, like, a magical force. And honestly, I love the idea that someone brought up, but I don't know if it's canon. The idea that metachlorians merely go more towards those with a higher connection to the Force. Which makes sense, completely goes against what the hell was said in the prequels. And the whole idea that the metachlorians are actually what allows you to connect with the Force. But I like that one more, and honestly, I think like they're kind of going with that more because they more go into the whole idea of the Mortis arc with like there being the sister, which seems to be following Ahsoka everywhere with like the owl. The son, who is the dark, sister's the light side, he's the dark side, and then you have the father, who's the center. What the hell? So, Ahsoka being, they're really diving more into that, especially towards the end, because a lot of this is, again, them trying to find Ezra, which they find out that Ezra actually lives on, that Ezra and Thrawn are actually pretty much secluded on another galaxy. Because if you guys don't know, because I didn't know this until like way later, and then like I found out like certain things, like the idea that like all of Star Wars happens obviously in a far off galaxy and only in that galaxy, because traversing between galaxies would be goddamn insane, because you're pretty much traveling from here to there, which is, you know, thousands of light years away. Yeah, these are actually little mini, well, they're Micromasters, the Transformers, and they form a little NASA jet. I like this. Anyways, I just got it. It's cool. And you put on the, anyways, off topic. It'd be insane to do that shit because of the distance that you would have to travel without food or resources, stuff like that. And I do love the idea that these guys pretty much how the Empire gets to that other galaxies, they create a giant warp ring. And all I look at that, I'm like, they're gonna go to Plaid. Ludicrous speed, go! Like, it's great. But yeah, so that was Ahsoka. Like, that's they have to travel to that galaxy. So traveling to a galaxy is pretty much, not unheard of in this universe, but it's pretty much the set idea of you're screwed if you're stuck in that galaxy. There's no way no one will ever get to you. And that, which is really cool, because when eventually Sabine and Ahsoka do make it to this other galaxy, which Ahsoka uses the space whales, Sabine makes a deal with the bad guys pretty much because she's trying to find Ezra, which is great because, like, what is it? Hera, Kanan are like the mom and dad, and then you have Sabine as the sister, and then Ezra's like the older brother / uncle, and then you have Ezra who's like the younger brother and stuff. Like, I love that family dynamic they all have together. Them teleport, like, where was I going with this? But yeah, so like the second half of the series, when like they get to this planet, it is like a race against the clock of, oh shit, we got to get back on this warp ring because the whales are gone. Because the whales are gone, and there's no way to get back. There is zero way to. FYI, I want to spoil some shit. There's no way to get back. And also, I do kind of love, and like it's very much like every time the character are talking and moving slowly in that other world, I'm just like, get moving. Also, another thing is, because they, like, Disney has been talking about exploring other universes. Not so much like the multiverse, but other, like, galaxies in Star Wars. Like, apparently the D&D, not Dungeons and Dragons, but the guys who screwed up Game of Thrones. If I remember correctly, it was either them or it was Rian Johnson that they were going to say, like, you guys are going to get your own trilogies in your own universes. And I'm like, and like, there was a bunch of questions at that time, like, how would that be? Like, are there Jedi in that universe? Like, and like, for me, I'd be like, oh shit, that's fucking, like, oh my god, that's kind of cool. Because the idea is, like, what if the Force is different in this other universe? What if there's other Force abilities? Like, obviously speaking, like, you could just stay in the same galaxy. Because here's the thing. You could immediately just stay in the same galaxy, and you could easily, okay, there's a new planet with new shit on it. Like, a galaxy is ginormous. So you could easily have, like, different aliens and all this other shit. They're fine. What I would want to see, obviously, is, obviously, if they went to a new galaxy, see, like, yeah, their version of the Jedi. Would they have lightsabers? Would they not? Maybe they have stronger Force power. Maybe the Force is completely different in that universe. Though it does very much seem like, in this, from what it seems, the Force is it's the same Force between the two, and also, at least somewhat, and it seems like not magic. Well, because there is magic, because apparently the Dathomir come from this universe, but also, like, there's statues of the father, the daughter, and the son. There's something here that's calling to them, which people are saying is the mother, who's like, if the father is the balance of the Force, she is the chaos of the Force. And I don't know, it's like very interesting, like that whole idea of it. And then, but also the main Jedi, Dark Jedi, Balin, apparently his actor died, so I'm sorry to hear that. But also on that same note, if they're gonna use him next season, I wouldn't want him to die off, because I think they could still use the character. Because apparently there's gonna be another scene, which, how it ends, it definitely seems that way, because, spoilers, Ezra and Thrawn, where Ezra dragged Thrawn to another universe, in this other version, it's Thrawn actually kind of takes Ezra back to their universe, while Ahsoka and Sabine are stuck on this planet, are stuck on this new planet in this new universe. Which, again, with the whole Rian Johnson and, like, DNA, whatever thing, I want to see this universe kind of explored more. Maybe the Force is slightly different. Maybe it's not. Who knows? But, like, there's something in this world that's calling to them. And Balin seems to be searching for whatever that is. And he even finds the giant statues of the Force God. So it's like, okay, what is going on here? And then you have, Ahsoka and Sabine now stuck there figuring that stuff out. Which also, one thing I actually love is that Sabine does learn to use the Force. And I like the idea that, because it is kind of like the whole idea, like, if someone asked me, like, what fictional universe would you want to go to? Like, which fictional universe would you want to go to? I would probably pick the Owl House. Because, man, I somehow worked that in. Because the Owl House, well, at least when the Titan was alive, but even then, the King's there, you could learn magic even if you weren't born with it. You could, learn glyphs. You could get a palisman. There's other ways you could get magic without being the chosen one or being born a witchling and stuff like that. Star Wars, because that's the thing, like, I love Star Wars too. I would love a lightsaber. Don't get me wrong. I would love that. But the question is, like, how, like, but the thing is, like, if it has to do with, like, you have to be born with midichlorians and stuff like that, then most likely you're just going to be some rando who doesn't have any powers. And, that's about it. You could probably find a lightsaber. You probably kill yourself with it. But yeah, God, the sun is getting really bright out. But, but I actually kind of like what happened in the last episode of Ahsoka, where, because obviously, one, Sabine is, like, probably one of the last, is a Mando trying to become a Jedi, which is very similar to the first Mandalorian Jedi. But I actually kind of like something that was said at the end where which also there's a few cool things. I'll tie back to the legacy thing, but there's some cool things that were said, like when Ahsoka said, like, where Ahsoka and Ezra are talking when they do find him and everything, which dude looks like if he looks kind of like Basim from Assassin's Creed, and I'm like, God damn it, the new Assassin's Creed is coming out tomorrow. I don't have money to get it, so I'm gonna have to tell GameStop to hold it for a minute. But when he looks like Aladdin, like if there was ever someone to play Aladdin, it should be him again. It should be him, but because they already did do a live action Aladdin, but that's beside the point. Like when Ahsoka says, like, she's this, that, and like she because of like Mandalore getting glass and everything, which they even bring up that, like, the whole thing that happened with Mando. This all takes place after Mando, the last season of Mando. Because they bring up about the cloning and all that stuff was happening on Mandalore. When Mandalore got glass, Sabine took it hard, and pretty much Ahsoka said, like, if she unlocked her potential, she would probably be devastated. And I'm like, okay, I'm interested to see where that plays. And, like, I like that idea that, like, anyone could use the Force One, and you probably could just need to unlock that potential of it. And I find that extremely interesting. Also, I do find it funny, like someone once said, like on Twitter, of course, said, like, I don't see why everyone has such a hype for Sabine where she has no, like, latent potential to use the Force or whatever. What if she never uses the Force? I'm like, then you still have a Jedi killer, which is why Mandalorians are so powerful, because they hunted Jedi. A Jedi killer trained as a Jedi, using all her tools to fight while also being able to wield a lightsaber and stuff. Like, that's still extremely deadly. And this even shows it because she uses some of her Mando tools and guns and stuff while also using her lightsaber skills. It's kind of great. Also, there's zombies at one point, which is kind of good. And also, I guess, does that mean like all of the stormtroopers that were with Thrawn were re-raised and made as zombies? Or, I don't know. Because at one point, like, there was some, like, the Death Troopers, but they were zombies underneath. So it's like, I don't know if it was. Anyways, but yeah, but then also again, like that whole legacy thing where Ahsoka's like, I was worried about what she would become, like if she unlocked her full potential. Which again, I love the idea of like unlocking it. But also on that same note, when Thrawn like kind of sends like well, I'm leaving now, but I just want to say, Ahsoka, if you're anything like your master, maybe you should stay here. We all saw what he became. Pretty much saying that, yeah, Ahsoka is kind of is one of the heirs of like the Darth Vader legacy, where it's like, yeah, if Ahsoka's not careful, she could become like just as bad as Vader was, and I like that a lot. Which again, I don't know, like. Well, also, I guess that's also kind of something similar to the sequel trilogy, too. Also, now that I think about it, yeah, it is very much sequel trilogy. I just saw a bunch of people were saying, like, who's more useless, Roku or Korra? And I'm like, Korra's awesome. But someone else brought up, like, Roku could have literally ended the 100-Year War before it began, killing the Fire Lord right there. And me looking at that, I'm thinking, like, man, I hope you're not a Star Wars fan, because goddamn, you probably would hate. Because at that point, like, if you were, you better not have said like, well, Luke was in the Luke would never have done this. It's like he saw that 100-Year War in Kylo Ren's head and be like, shit, should I end this? Like, and like I love the idea that Vader has a presence throughout everything after like Star Wars stuff, and I love that a lot. And it's always the idea of, we don't want another one. Also, like I was saying too, like if they need to bring Balin back, which I honestly think they would, have him get on his travels trying to find whatever, have him get scarred up and have a helmet put on him. Boom, you're done. And you can make him another Darth Vader-esque character, because that's a cool thing too, because like you do feel like Vader's presence throughout most of these sequel shows. Even in the original trilogy you do, or the sequel trilogy you do, where like Moff Gideon pretty much has a Vader-esque suit towards the end, and he pretty much wants to be like Vader with Vader suit helmet. You could have Balin be something similar to that sense as well. Not that he wants to be Vader, but something along those lines. But something along the lines of he mirrors him a lot. It's kind of like how in the prequels, like each of the bad guys is fragments of Vader, where you have Maul is, the dark Sith apprentice trained for whatever, and eventually gets dissected and whatever. You have, then in the sequel, you have, is it the second? Yeah, you have Dooku, who's more of like the talented Force wielder, Jedi turned dark side, and all this stuff. And then the last, even you kind of have like, going for a certain cause or whatever. But then you have like Grievous at the end, a more machine than man kind of creation. You have those fragments that eventually build into what Vader becomes. And then you have, obviously, the sequel. Then you have the original trilogy where you have Vader. And then afterward, you have, again, fragments of Vader, which then lead into shows. Where even the sequel trilogy, you have the legacy of Vader, Kylo, while also the legacy of Anakin, Rey. Like with the lightsaber, with Rey using his lightsaber, Anakin's lightsaber, while Kylo is more the dark side, the dark force, the Skywalker name, the Skywalker suit, and then it kind of builds off of there, where you kind of see those two divergence kind of happening. You see, and then you even have the whole idea of the dyad, where it's very similar to like the Chosen One, but it's within two different people and stuff like that. I don't really like that Rey was born Palpatine, but then also on that same note, screw everyone who says like she should have the name Palpatine and try to make it good. Go change your last name to Hitler and go say, like, I'm going to make this name mean something good. Please, if you have that legitimate idea of, yes, she should take the... God, look at that sun. It's exploding behind me. God is either on my side or pissed. Like, come on. Like, if you truly believe, oh, yeah, you should make Palpatine name the good name, go go change your name to Hitler and go make that name mean something good. Because if you can't, shut up. But yeah. This, and like, it does kind of stink that, this guy, what is it? This guy who's like a cool Inquisitor pretty much was just nothing. It's like, stop making cool characters with helmets if you're not going to give them like cool shit. Like, he was just kind of cool and then he kind of just disappeared and that was it. And I don't know why. It's like, I don't know. It's just like you could have added more. Maybe we'll get more of his backstory another time. I don't know. But I don't remember this. Not her. I do like the stuff with like Dathomir witches being also this girl is great. This girl is pretty good. I want to see more what her thing's gonna be. I feel like they're gonna try to redeem her. Okay. But I don't remember if this lady had like the Dathomir symbols up here, but I do like the whole things that they're extending with Dathomir being with, there are force wielders, and it's like triangles are for Jedi, squares are for, the Sith, and then circles are for Dathomir witches. And I like kind of like the whole thing, because they are, like, when I found out Dathomir witches actually were using the force, I'm like, wait, what? So, it's interesting to see that more explored, and that'll be a bigger part of things. And they pretty much set up at the end, like, yeah, it looks like there's going to be another season. And also, Anakin's at the end is, like, looking at Ahsoka, always being decided, like, he's at, like, I love that. Yeah, the show is great, honestly. This is awesome. It's cool seeing, and again, it's a smart idea to have the main characters of the show be literally a Mando and a Jedi, and then a Mando Jedi. So, yeah, and I'm definitely excited to see what's going to happen with Ezra now, and, like, how are they going to, like, Sabine and Ahsoka, are they trapped on the planet, or like I guess Ezra and them could probably take the giant space ring and go back and save them, but who knows? But yeah, it's interesting. I think Thrawn is going to be like the main bad guy of the last show or like movie that's supposed to end the Mandoverse. I don't know, but this show was great. I liked it. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Share videos that I've done. Links are on my face. Share videos. Hopefully enjoy this. I'm excited to see what's going to happen next. I'm loving the Star Wars stuff, and I really do hope, because apparently Rey is going to get her own another series of movies again, which I'm like, okay. I'm excited because I want to see Rey back. I liked Rey. And I want to see them explore more, because I already see that they're going to, if they keep going this direction, all these routes and stuff, yeah, Rey will become one of the most popular Jedi against Skywalkers, and then you're gonna have people like, oh, I always like the sequels, when they were bashing the shit out of them a little bit ago. But anyways, thanks for watching videos. Hope you enjoyed it. And there are people who will say, you're always bad. They're all bad. Only the OG ones are good. And then even like, the original Obi-Wan said, like, if you're this obsessed about Star Wars, you're an idiot. So anyways, but thanks for watching videos. Hope you enjoyed this, and we will see you later. But yeah, God, it is just a smart move, like having a Mando and a Jedi together. It's so great. And the Ahsoka's design is really good. Just don't take off the headdress.